Now, let's go to some other news that's more important. All right, to the hell we're getting ready to see uh, come on the planet Earth. Now, this is an article saying America is going to shut down if we shut down. The Mississippi River water levels are near record low, and it's wreaking havoc on one of the U.S. most critical supply chains. You see that? This right here is big, and it's biblical prophecy, and we'll show you how. Now, real quick, let's go to a video going into how this Mississippi River is.
We don't have anywhere to go with all the grains at the smell of harvest.
Water woes on the Mississippi. Many business.
We don't have anywhere to go with all the grains at the smell of harvest.
Water woes on the Mississippi. Many businesses and ports along the river are struggling with shipments as water is reaching levels that many have not seen in a decade.
We operate optimally at about 22 foot at the Osceola marker. Right now, we're currently operating at below 8 foot or below 7 foot right now, which is very difficult to operate around.
Look at the title, the time of the video, 1:44.
Cody Brown with Big River Steel said operating at 15 feet below where they would usually like to be makes getting products out extremely difficult on his staff.
It creates a lot of issues, creates a lot of time-consuming, meticulous work on the part of our port operator.
A port operator a little further down the river understands the struggle. Jeff Wershman with Poinsett Rice and Grain said levels are forcing them to cut down on the amount of product they can put in a barge.
Decreases our ability to get barges, and it also hampers how much we're putting on the barge.
And it's interesting, me, the Apostle Rakah, and Ariala on our way to Mississippi a few weeks ago, we passed the Mississippi River and we noticed how dry it was. But it didn't even click to us that that was prophecy. It didn't even click, all right, until I was doing some study, for this particular news and prophecy. And I had this article, and I was like, damn, and what we'll show you is that the Mississippi River is pretty much in spirit the same as the Nile River, which ran through Egypt, which Egypt has Memphis in it. The Mississippi River runs through Memphis. Okay, so we're in that spiritual Egypt, and we're going to show you prophetically, all right, that this the drying of this river is going to be used as a means to bring famine, woe, and hell. See, you'll think, the Mississippi River dried up. That don't got nothing to do with me. Eventually, it does. Let's keep going.
We're only putting about 60% of capacity.
Getting products out the door is a headache, but Wershman said this could have even bigger financial consequences and stretch out harvest season.
It increases our freight cost, slows us down a little bit during harvest, so we're just going to have to stretch harvest out a little longer than it normally does.
With only clear skies in the forecast, this issue may continue to get worse for everyone along the Old Man River.
Okay. Yeah, for those who don't understand the significance of this, there's another video on YouTube that explains that the United States developed its economic might due to having one great advantage over many nations, which is the Mississippi River. Imports, which Babylon the Great in prophecy is known as one of the nation with the most imports of any nation. All right, meaning they can import and trade by sea, and they have the most imports of import of any country. All right. Now, as a matter of fact, let me type that in to make sure I'm on point with that. Which country has the most import or exports? Let's just put exports. Exporting. China, U.S., pretty much they send everything overseas. But let's type in imports. USA. USA is number one. Okay, now let's look up the term import. Bringing goods or services into a country from abroad, which when you get Revelation 18, let's get that real quick. Yep. Revelation 18:7, 4:1, hour, so great riches has become naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off. All right, so there you go. Okay, and it lets you know that they trade by sea through thy traffic, according to the book of Ezekiel, the 28th chapter. All right, but I have to find that video that this individual is talking about. Yep, this is a very serious situation. Mississippi, Colorado, Lake Mead, the Nazi River, and all these river lakes are very low. This is a huge crisis, not just national, but international. That's the work of the Lord. Okay, let's get another video here real quick.
So here's moving 5 barges long, 5 barges wide. He has very little margin for error.
The Mississippi River at Vicksburg is at a dangerously low level, affecting critical barge traffic.
This boat here normally would not be this close to the bank. You see how much river is unusable. Just past this barge, you'll see a green buoy. The rest of the river there has less than 10 foot of water in it.
Austin Golding is president of Golding Barge Line. That's Vicksburg's largest. Golding says the company already starting to feel the economic pinch.
We need the barges fully laden, fully loaded, and our tows push as many barges as possible to be as economically viable as possible. Less cargo, less barges, less revenue.
Well, it's definitely having an impact on the local economy because the commercial use of this river has almost completely stopped.
Barges from the port of Vicksburg lined up near the Yazoo Canal with nowhere to go Tuesday morning. A paddle boat has been docked at the canal for the past 2 days. Vicksburg Mayor George Flack says larger cruise vessels are a no-go.
The cruise boats and the other one is being affected, and the size of those boats may have something to do with it also.
Experts say the longer the problem persists, the greater the likelihood that businesses that depend on the river to move their product will face higher costs, which will then be passed on to the consumer. Reporting from Vicksburg.
Higher costs, which will then, because who ends up always paying for, you know, the things not moving? The consumer. All right. It's going to be higher to get things particular places in a way that they're going to make up the difference of, you know, what they're, you know, paying in gas and to get these things on shelves. And you're going to pay higher prices. Okay, which this is all prophetic. Now, going back to this article. All right. Which pretty much is going into everything that these individuals said. You see, it says around 500. It says traffic jams and stuck barges are clogging up a critical artery of the U.S. economy. The Lord is pretty much putting this bitch to where it's getting ready to die. As a prolonged drought pushes the Mississippi River water levels to near record lows. Around 500 million tons of supplies are ferried along the Mississippi River every year, with trade value worth $130 billion. According to the Port of New Orleans, products like corn, soybeans, along with fuel products, the Mississippi River Basin produces more than 90% of U.S. agriculture exports. According to the National Park Service, nearly 80% of the world's grain exports. All right, but all of that is coming to a standstill amid historic drought conditions that are making the river all right, untraversable for most shipping barges. River levels are now at their lowest level in a decade after historically low rainfall in recent months. It's been hot as hell in the South. Dry. Becoming the latest supply chain snag to hit the U.S., along with all of these food processing plants just being burned down. Or I mean, just it was burning down on themselves. And a bunch of other things. Now, let's go to the scriptures real quick, to the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter. Okay, and start at 1. It says, the burden of Egypt, which is the burden of Babylon, because you have to understand, we are in a spiritual Egypt. Okay, with the book of Revelation 11, because at the time Isaiah was on the scene, Assyrian, Babylonian time, pretty much the Egypt had fell already. Now, it was under the control of particular heathen nations, but it never reached the point that it was at the time that we were there in slavery, right? So it says, Revelation 11 and 8, and their dead bodies, the dry bones, the Israelites, shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And there's many, many parallels between Egypt and America. All right. I have a video. Let me see if I still have that video. Maybe I'll do another one. It's an older video. Let me see here. Egypt. I mean, even this particular award, I believe it's the Grammy Award, that goes back to an Egyptian idol. Let me see here. It's one of these videos. Yep, here we go. America is spiritually Egypt. Like, we're literally in Egypt again, and this Mississippi River is pretty much, it plays the role of the Nile River. All right. In Egypt. All right. But the Mississippi River does it here in America. But you can look this video up, or I'll post it in the description. America is spiritually Egypt in more ways than one, you know, and I mean, even down to red, white, and blue, you know, cosmetics, the red, white, and blue flag, how we have here in America. Well, in ancient Egypt, the aristocratic class was separated by red, white, and blue. Okay? And that's what was being explained in this video. All right, women's rights go back to Egypt. Bowling goes back to Egypt. Beer goes back to Egypt. All right, queens. Okay, there's a lot that we see in our everyday lives. All right, ancient Egyptians drank beer. Don't you see beer is a big thing here in America? So we're in a spiritual Egypt. So the Bible's on point. Revelation 11 and 8, it said we would be in a spiritual Sodom. We already know why this is spiritual Sodom. Okay? And we see why this is spiritual Egypt. Okay, I'm going to have to look up the different gods that were worshipped in Sodom, because that'll be a lesson tying them into everything you see happening here. But pretty much the spirit of Baphomet, dual gendered, you know, the sexual depravity. We're witnessing, all right, a spiritual Egypt, which Joel, the 3rd chapter, lets you know at the very end that Edom would control this spiritual Egypt. Okay, so we've been brought to Egypt again by ships. The northern tribes are also, the scriptures say that they will return unto Egypt. So look, we're here. Okay, now dealing with the Nile River and going back, we'll go back to Isaiah 19, but as a matter of fact, before we get this, let's go back to reading Isaiah the 19th chapter. Okay, the burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, the chariots, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And that's what's happening. All right. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, civil war, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. There's just a spirit of division. All right. Everything is leading towards everybody's at war. On social media, everybody's at war. Okay. But the Edomites are fighting against the Edomites. Okay. But the people of America are just divided in every way too. Okay. It says, and what does the scripture say about civil war? A nation divided by civil war cannot stand. Okay. As a matter of fact, where is that? It's in the book of Mark, I believe. I believe it's in the book of Mark. Yep, Mark 3:24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, it cannot stand. And when you get it in the NLT, it says a kingdom divided by civil war will collapse. So why these Edomites think that they're in control, really it's the Lord controlling them. You're a pawn. See, Esau likes to act as if he's the Most High, where he controls, good and evil, and sets up these particular talking points and does this to move. But it's really the Lord using your ass. Verse 3, Isaiah 19, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. Okay, the New World Order is being outed. Okay, you're being called out, you're lying, you're trying to hide history. Okay, on how this place really was established, you're through. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. And don't think for 1 second somebody like Kanye West ain't involved in left-hand witchcraft. Okay? But they're seeking unto what? Their gods via what they're putting out in propaganda on the news. They're praying to their gods. It was on the dollar that pretty much Annuit Conceptus, Novus Ordo Seclorum, pretty much the gods have granted us, all right, the go-ahead to establish our new secular order. They were speaking their victory into existence. See, and they call on their gods, just like we're calling on our God. We're offering up a sacrifice. They're doing the same thing on the left-hand side. But see, Cain's offering was rejected, and it's going to be rejected in this time. Okay? So let me jump. Here we go. Verse 19, and the waters shall fail from sea to sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. Okay? And the Mississippi River is the most important river in Babylon. It's a few others, but the Mississippi River. Okay? That's the longest river in Babylon. Now, the Nile River is longer, but it plays the same role that the Mississippi River plays here in Babylon. It says, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds, all right, shall wither. Let's read this in the NLT. The canals of the canals of the Nile will dry up. See? But this is speaking of spiritual Egypt. So what is the spiritual Nile River? Let's go to the understanding here real quick. This is a map. All right, showing you how the Mississippi River runs through Babylon. Okay. The same thing as how the Nile River ran through Egypt. And you can look up parallels between the Nile River and the Mississippi River. And you even have particular scholars saying they believe the Bible is actually talking about the Mississippi River when it's talking about the Nile River, but they just don't understand that this is a spiritual Egypt. You see? This is how the Nile River, all right, which empties out into, the Mediterranean Sea. All right, but you see how it runs through? Very important. All right, for things to be done, for economies. You see? And the Egyptians worshipped the Nile River. Okay, that was like a god unto them. Okay, as a matter of fact, the Egyptians Why was the Nile River so important in ancient Egypt? Ancient Egypt and the Nile River. The impact of the Nile River in ancient Egypt. I mean, we can just look at a quick one, but I mean, you could do the research on your own. But they worshipped it. And they actually had a ritual where they, beat off into the river. Okay? Let's see here. I don't want to.
Welcome to the Nile River Valley. Here in this troporia, and after about 4,100 miles, it empties into the Mediterranean Sea. Each year, the Nile River overflowed its banks, flooding the land. As it receded, it deposited fertile silt.
And they used, showing you they had technology back then. They want to make you to believe technology only started with Esau. But they used technology because it flooded every year. They used technology, to subside the floods and make it to work for them. But
Divided the year into 3 seasons that centered on the Nile River.
yeah, I'm not.
Akhet, Peret, and
I'm not gonna. You could look this up on your own. But what you'll find out is that the role of the Nile River in Egypt, the Mississippi River plays that same role over here in America. You see? Let's see here. But the Egyptians worshipped, all right, this particular river, The ancient Egyptians believed on many gods, some linked to the Nile River, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, let's go back here. Because I got other articles, so I don't want to. But it's talking about the Nile River, right? But ultimately here in America, that's the Mississippi River, which ironically, it runs through Memphis. Which ultimately Memphis is what? That's a city that goes back to ancient Egypt. And it has a pyramid there in Memphis, right? There you go, the famous pyramid, and as you can see, the river. So, hey, the Lord, man, we this book is on point. Okay, and no matter how they try to stop it, but as you can see, pretty much the Mississippi River runs through pretty much from top to bottom of Babylon. So it's a very, very important, okay, for economies. Okay, so what did the Lord say he was going to do? All right, let's read this in the NLT. All right. And the canals of the Nile will dry up, and the streams of Egypt will stink with rotting reeds and rushes. All right. And when we drive by it, it looked terrible. I remember driving there because that's where my roots go back to. I'm not from there, but my roots go back there. And we would always see that river. But when me and the Apostle and Ariella rolled through there, I noticed it was drier than I've ever seen it. And I was like, I didn't really think too much on it, but it all clicked for this lesson. All right. It says, the paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks. All right. And everything sown by the brooks shall wither and shall be driven away and shall be no more. All right. So this is a economic collapse headed by what? The river drying up. It says all the greenery along the riverbank and all the crops along the river will dry up and blow away. Now, when you look at the Mississippi River, you see, because this is where people drive that river behind him. But when you look, you can see that drying happening, man. Okay? Call Halal Yahweh Shemiah Shai. All right? See if we can get some pictures of it. It's the lowest it's been in 10 years. See that? It's drying up. Look at that. That's prophecy. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, let's go back to Isaiah 19. All right. It says, let's go back. We know reeds and brooks deal with water. It says, the fishers shall mourn, okay, because that's their business. And all they that cast angles into the brooks is the sea, the water, shall lament. The angle is like, the fish hook. All right, meaning, ultimately they who do and make their business off of fishing are going to mourn. The angle and they that cast their angle into the brook shall lament, and they shall spread nets upon they that spread nets upon the water shall languish. All right, and in the fishing business, all right, as a matter of fact, we can just type it in. I guarantee you something comes up. Fishing business. Start here. See if we can find something. Yep, 120 miles of the Colorado River, which I believe that's linked to this river in some way, due to drought, closed. This was in 2021. Drought forces closure on one of America's greatest trout fisheries. Just an example. Okay. The drought is causing fishing closures. Okay. Point blank period. The words of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai are faithful and true. East Texas agricultural business struggling due to drought. And it ain't just the Mississippi River. It's droughts everywhere. See? So suffering is happening. Point blank period. To the economy. Okay, let's go back here. It says, so they're languishing. You're depressed. If that's how you make your money, you're looking at what's happening, and these plagues are depressing you. But see, we, the elect, we're excited by this. It says, moreover, they that work in fine flax and they that weave network shall be confounded. So basically, economic collapse is what this chapter is speaking to. All right, let's see if we can get this in the NLT. There will be no flax for the harvesters. There will be no thread for the weavers. All right, you're not able to get things where you want them to go. All right, let's look at this word flax in the Hebrew. And pretty much I'm gonna have to come back and do another one, because this topic pretty much took up the the whole. But let's look up this word flax, pashath. It says linen, flax, fiber used as material for garments, which all of this is pretty much traded and it gets to places via what? Trade by sea, which we just read that's how Babylon would make most of its money. Why do you think these particular nations are going to be wailing when Babylon is destroyed? Okay, didn't we get it? Revelation 18. Let's go back to it real quick. Revelation 18 and 10. Standing afar off, showing you that the world ain't going to be destroyed. How are these nations, when Babylon's going to be destroyed, going to be weeping? Because they're going to know the Lord did this. They're going to know this was biblical. This was a heaven, something from the heavens made this happen. And the chariots are going to be there. It says, standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. So America is a consumer. All you got to do is just create something, and the American people will buy it. So by America being destroyed, it's going to disrupt the whole entire planet Earth and it's going to disrupt the world economy. America is very, very important to how this world runs. All right. But this is Esau's world. Okay. Going back to Isaiah 19:9, let's read 10. It says, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, and all that make sluit and ponds for fish. Okay, so business ain't gonna be as usual. Okay, they will be in despair, and all the workers will be sick at heart because of what? The droughts, which disrupts economies. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools, and the counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh has become brutish. And who's the modern day Pharaoh? The Edomites. Okay, let's look up Zoan. Okay, the ancient city of Lower Egypt called Tanis by the Greeks, located on the eastern bank of the Tannitic branch of the Nile. The capital, the shepherd city, yada, yada, yada. But the Nile, it's dealing with the Nile. All right. NLT. What fools are the officials of Zoan? And who are the officials of Zoan? The Edomites. Their best counsel to the king of Egypt is stupid and wrong. Will they still boast to Pharaoh of their wisdom? Will they dare brag about all their wise ancestors? And that's what these Edomites have been doing the whole time. But what they're about to find out is that all of that witchcraft it ain't going to work to stop what the Heavenly Father is doing. Let's get the book of Ezekiel 30:11. It says, he and his people with him, the terrible of the nations, shall be brought to destroy the land, and they shall draw their swords against Egypt and fill the land with the slain. And I will make the rivers dry and sell the land into the hand of the wicked, and I will make the land waste and all that is therein by the hand of strangers. I, the Lord, have spoken it. Okay? Thus said the Lord, I will also destroy the idols, and I will cause their images to cease out of Naph, and there shall be no more a prince of the land of Egypt, and I will put fear in the land of Egypt. All right. Now, again, this is going into something that happened in history, but this can be applied today. That which is then is now. We're seeing all of this happening. The idols of Egypt are being confounded. Let's look up Naph, or did we just look that up? All right, Naph or Napah. Presentability. Another name for Memphis, the capital city of Egypt. Memphis was the capital city of Egypt, which was where the government was run out of. The capital is where your government is really ran out of. So, boom, and we have Memphis in America, which is synonymous with the Nile River. You can't make this up. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? See that? So we're definitely in a spiritual Egypt. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai for this understanding. Zechariah 10:11, and he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the depths of the river shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria's land shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart away. And Egypt and Assyria are symbolic of captivity, and you'll see them named together in a lot of scriptures, and it's speaking of end time prophecy. But there you go. He's going to dry up the river. All right. And this is ultimately an end time prophecy. All right. Where the God will bless Judah and Ephraim. So these particular things that are happening worldwide all link us to a victory. You see what I'm saying? Jeremiah 50:38, a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. So the Lord is destroying this place because of what? Idol worship, wickedness. NLT, the sword will even strike her water supply, causing it to dry up. And why? Because the whole land is filled with idols and the people are madly in love with them. Okay, so the Lord is breaking this place up, man. Okay? Call Halo Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay? Verse 12, Isaiah 19. Where are they? Why are thy wise men? Where are thy wise men? Let them tell thee now, and let them know what Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, has proposed upon Egypt. Okay, because they're what you're noticing is these Edomites' counsel is becoming more and more blatant. They're losing, and they have to be blatant. And they're just going to openly call on Satan in a minute, but they're openly calling on Satan through the stuff that's being done in the earth. What they're doing to the children, everything leads towards Satan and wickedness and left-hand magic. It's a sacrifice. Okay, the princes of Zoan are become fools. Memphis, the princes of Noph are deceived and have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof, because we would be here in America. The Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work, as a drunken man staggereth in his own vomit. Okay, and all you have to do is just look at what's going on worldwide. Let's get these out of the way. Okay, Satan has filed federal lawsuit to overturn Idaho's 187 ban. When we say 187, if you just hear us saying that, we're talking about these. Okay, which in this world, that's a topic of contention. In our kingdom, you'll never hear of this. We're going to all be fruitful and multiply, and you heathen are going to have to be fruitful and multiply for the purpose of us having subjects. All right? But all of you will be subject to the laws of the Lord. None of this garbage will be happening. And this is how you know this practice is tied to evil and wickedness. This all goes back to the god of Molech. When you have Satanists marching for your agenda, and your ass is wicked. You think the Satanists are going to march for the waters to be clean, for the seeds to not be genetically modified? For that the true Israelites be set up in the land? No, they're marching, all right, for more of these 187s, because they use these fetuses and various different things in their rituals and blood and all kind of stuff. They prey on children. They're saying this violates our rights. So when Satanists are marching, and you see the two horns, when Satanists are marching for your agenda, your ass is wicked. All right. There's a perverse spirit in Egypt, and it's breaking down. 90% of U.S. adults say the United States is experiencing a mental health crisis. All right. What does the scripture say? The love of many will wax cold. Let's get that. Okay. People are losing their mind, and you're starting to see how crazy the judgments and the things that people do, how bizarre and left-hand they are. It's all matter of stuff happening. People are losing it. Matthew 24:12, and because of iniquity, perverseness, sin shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Now, we bring this out all the time, but that word cold is psycho. Suko, all right? The waning of love. See? The waning of love. Okay? People are ultimately lacking, and love is waning. Okay? The waning and the zeal of love. We watched the Deontay Wilder fight last night, and that's all he was talking about. If people just spread more love, and he's right, but he just doesn't understand that it's going to be like this until the Lord takes these devils out of the way. But true love is what this world needs. What is love? The keeping of the commandments. See, the Lord is taking us through a process to where we see, all right, that the way of Satan didn't work. It only brought hell into the earth. Everybody says from 2015 to 2019, prescriptions for antidepressants rose 38% for teenagers compared to 15% for adults. How much more now? It didn't go into what happened in from 2020 to now with the whole, Ovid or the Crown Royale 2019 situations that started in 2020. All right. I need that. Hold up. Let this madness pass. Like when the ambulance be coming with Camp Jake. Let this madness pass. Hold on, give me 1 second. Make sure.
When I was a teenager in the 1970s, my parents had what were then the normal concerns: binge drinking, drunk driving, teen pregnancy, and smoking, both cigarettes and weed. But the main worries of today's parents about their teenagers, they're of a different sort: anxiety, depression, self-harm, suicide. These troubling statistics predate the pandemic and have only gotten worse since. In 2019, 13% of adolescents reported having a major depressive episode, up 60% from 2007. For people ages 10 to 24, the CDC estimates that suicide rates leapt nearly 60% from 2007 to 2018. And according to the mail-order pharmacy Express Scripts, from 2015 to 2019, prescriptions for antidepressants rose 38% for teenagers, compared with 15% for adults. These facts and more comprise the background for the first installment of Inner Pandemic, a New York Times series about adolescence titled "It's Life or Death: The Mental Health Crisis Among U.S. Teens."
All right, let's get the prophecy. Isaiah 24. The people are languishing, and that's actually a condition now that is, relevant amongst the people. Isaiah 24:4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. And they'll never link any of this, why people are so depressed, to their rulership. It's really the way that the world is being ran, why everybody's so goddamn depressed. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languishes and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the covenant, and broken the everlasting ordinance, the everlasting covenant. The land Sabbath, the way that the earth is taken care of and ran is very important. They chop trees down to be around. If you're living somewhere and there's just one tree in front of your house, or you may have one, that leads to, that's a cause of mental stress. Being around all of this concrete, these devils have ruined the whole entire planet Earth. So the people are languishing. The haughty people of the earth do languish. And again, all you have to do is type in what? Languishing. This is a mental condition that started really in 2020. Yep, languishing. Okay. Why the pandemic causes languish and how to cope. So this book, man, come on now. Come on now. This book, it speaks to everything languishing in young adults, 2021. Are you languishing? Here's what you need to know. And languishing just means you're drooping down. You have no enthusiasm. You don't know if you're depressed. You don't know if you're sad. You just don't care no more. You don't have any really drive. Okay? To make progress, failing to make progress or to be successful. Decline, deteriorate, droop. So the people are witnessing this. Let's go back to this.
Joining me now is its author, Matt Richtel, a Pulitzer Prize-winning staff writer for the New York Times. For the series, he spent more than a year interviewing adolescents and their families. He's also written a book just out called Inspired, Understanding Creativity.
Look, the C19 plan right here, you see it, exasperated numerous social stressors that we know can increase the risk of both substance and use use and substance use and mental illness. Now, in particular parts of the world, they're allowing people to take drugs. They're giving the drugs out. Said Dr. Nora Vocal, director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse. And these devils are the reason for all of this. Okay? It says drug overdose deaths reached record levels in 2021. Suicide rates were back near record high. People are losing their damn mind. And then these devils got the nerve to say, oops, we didn't have to really shut the earth down behind the Crown Royale 2019. It was kind of like a mistake. We rushed it. We didn't mean it. But they're not the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? They're not the children of Satan, right? And you stupid niggas are going to still run and lay around there and do whatever they tell you to do, as they're going to come with more propaganda. So people are losing their damn minds, man. Again, Luke 21 and 26, because when all of this is happening, we're supposed to look up and, know the Lord is near. All right. Men's hearts failing them for fear. All right. And for looking after those things which are coming up on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. This world is getting ready to be taken down. Now let's look up this word, hearts failing them. Because your heart is your mind. Okay?
Strong's G 674. Apopsycho. Apopsycho.
A popsicle. It says to breathe out a life, to expire, to faint or be swoon away. People's minds are being worn out by the propaganda, by the food, by the air, by having to stay in a house, by wearing masks every goddamn wear. Apo is the separation. Yep, the social distancing. And this word is used in the book of Revelation. All right, what John the Revelator saw. When it said, if any man didn't worship the beast, pretty much you should be killed. That word for kill is also to separate. And we're seeing they're using particular things to separate you from the system. So people being separated from a clean mental state. It's Sukkot, the waning of love. So people are just being separated from love. People are through. Their hearts are failing them. Their minds are failing them. All right, for the looking after those things which are happening on the planet Earth. All right, people will be terrified at what they see coming upon the earth, for the powers in the heavens will be shaken. And in this government, the rulers of this world, it's all being shaken up by the hand of the Lord, which is through prophecy, man. Okay, there's another one. U.S. economy. Let's see how long I've been going. All right, let me wrap this up, and I'll go through everything else in another one. I don't want to make this too long, but hey, it's all a spirit. U.S. economy will soon start losing 175,000 jobs a month, Bank of America warns. Okay, let's go back to Isaiah 19. See if it plays a little bit of it. If it loads. If not, it's all good. But I mean, the title alone is all we need. Yeah, let's play this.
By the government, 263,000 new jobs. A lot of information released by the government. 263,000 new jobs added in the month. Now, that is a cool down from recent months, but in normal times, this would still be a pretty strong hiring plan here. So 263,000. When you look at the jobless rate coming down here to 3.5%. So the jobless rate coming down a little bit. A lot of information released by the government. 263,000 new jobs added in the month. Now, that is a cool down from recent months, but in normal times, this would still be a pretty strong hiring plan here. So 263,000. When you look at the jobless rate, a lot of information released by the government. 263,000 new jobs added in the month. Now, that is a cool down from recent months, but in normal times, this would still be a pretty strong hiring plan here. So 263,000. When you look at the jobless rate coming down here to 3.5%. So the job
seems like it's just repeating itself, but let's just go here to Isaiah the 19th chapter again. What's the very next verse? Let's read 14 again. The Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err, and every work thereof as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So there ain't going to be any work. Okay? And it's all going to tighten up soon. 2023, we know. We've been prepared for this, man. And to hell with working. To hell with a job. If that's your worry, then you need to pray to the Lord for, because the Lord is getting ready to separate us from Egypt. And he got something all way better prepared for us. He got provision already laid out. Okay? It's no work. All right? That the head or tail, branch or rush are going to be able to do. Millionaires are going to suffer. See? And at this time, the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt, and everyone that maketh mention of the Hebrew Israelites, right, basically, shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, which ye have determined against it. The 2/3 going to get revved up of Jake. But ultimately, Judah was the beginning of this word being preached, which now all of the tribes have entered in, and this devil is in trouble. We're speaking the language of Canaan, which is the Hebrew. And this offering that we're offering up is getting ready to be accepted by Yahweh Bashmi Ashai, Lord willing, man. Okay? So, oh, man. An eviction crisis for black women. Okay? Look at this. It's just showing a black woman catching hell. I guess this is a stud. She got the, what's her name? Lori Lightfoot taper. All right. But there's no man in any of these. Like, you looking under the hood, but there ain't no man around to help you. You got to, oh boy. Any of these reasons could become grounds for an eviction. See, a lot of women are getting kicked out of their places. If you're a black woman in the United States, your chances of being evicted is higher than any other demographic. Okay. Could you do some yard work or paint a couple of my other units? I'd be willing to consider that as a partial payment. And you see the serpent. He's a serpent that's going to leave you women out there to dry. Perfect. He's going to be saying, well, this right here is really going to be if you get on your knees or if you bend over. Then I'll let you stay here a couple of more months. He ain't going to be asking these black women to paint. You know what Esau's gonna do. Or really, he'll just kick your ass out. I don't have childcare in the afternoons and I work the rest of the day. I'm sorry, there's nothing else we can do. You'll be kicked out. Okay? Black women are being evicted at a high rate. And we told you these things was coming. This is why our people need to come back to the Lord, man. Okay? This is going through the whole outline. And who's hey, let's get that scripture. Oh man, this is a whole article. Maybe I'll go into it fully in another one. And the landlords are like, you just gotta go. This is like a pandemic. This is like it's happening. You know, all of the tribes, but the black woman is at the forefront of it. Nobody gets away. All right? And for you sisters who are doing what's right, hey, Yahweh Bashim Yashai be with you, but these wicked women, hey, they're getting ready to lose, man. All of that pride and independent talk and this and that. Now you're seeing black women get on the YouTube crying for a soft life and saying they don't want to work no more. Well, the vintage is felon. Let's get that and we'll close it out. The American dream has showed itself to be a nightmare. Isaiah and you Israelites need to grow the hell up, because the topic of women just makes you lose, you don't know what to do. Oh my God, why you talk? Look, man, the Lord in the book, the Bible, men, women, and children are addressed. Okay? And we address men more than we address women. The fact that we even got to explain this, you Israelite women get all up in arms when you hear women, but you should be against these women too. You should know judgment is coming to these women if you now have the right mindset. Okay? You Israelite women should have woke up to the what this world promised you and what the serpent told you was good. It didn't work out. You should well know that. Isaiah 32:9, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days. All right. And when you go into this in Babylon, the women were proud. All right. They were doing hair shows. I have it in a book. Maybe I'll bring it out one day. But they were doing hair shows. Me and Ariella brought it out a while back. But they were just all into fashion and proud and dainty and, not, just being the nigga woman. All right. Because the northern tribes wasn't even, they pretty much had left. Okay. So it says, many days shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail. Okay. The vintage is going to fail. And the gathering shall not come. The New World Order, which the majority of our women are at the forefront of trying to push it, because when all of this alphabet behavior, this trend, who was at the forefront of those marches? Women. Now you're complaining that, well, damn, our records are being broken. Well, duh. You wanted the damn trans man to be able to compete with other women. Now these niggas are breaking records, the running for there at the front of the race, the lifting weight, throwing a shot put ball far. And now everything that made a woman has now been tainted. You see how stupid you are? You were at the forefront of these marches. Now what a woman is being construed and altered and tapered. And now you can't even say what a woman is. So y'all are through, all of y'all. Y'all fought for this stupid agenda. Now look at you. You took the serpent's advice. Now look at you. So now many days and years shall you be troubled, you careless women. The vintage shall fail. Them food stamps that you've been living off of, that's getting ready to be cut off. Child support, that stuff is all getting ready to be cut off. Okay? The gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Meaning you're going to be in a position of difficulty. Okay? All of them, the dainties and the hot girl summer and this and that, it's all drying up. Everything, all of the pride is ultimately being visited, So that's for the wicked of our people is prepared hell and judgments, So ultimately that concludes this this news and prophecy. I had other articles, but I'll do them in another one. Hopefully you brothers and sisters were edified. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, Bashim Rachak Wadash. And double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. Shalom. And maybe another one of you brothers could, go into this article, because it breaks it down of the vintage felon, man. Shalom.